to the inner aisle. If there's any seats between you, move over. That way there's some room for people still coming in. That'd be great. Tim Trouton asked me this week if we would talk on our life group, and I was like, yeah, but if I'm going to do that, I got to start at the beginning. So in 1973, Chris Blackmore started this church. Actually, when my family first came here, I believe I was the youngest person attending, although that could have been Aaron Brownson or Paul Lambert Jr. The church supported me when I went on staff with InterVarsity in 2000, and then when I moved to Hong Kong and worked for the church, a little Chinese church, they supported me then, and many of you guys did as well. But when I came back from Hong Kong, I was just really struggling, and somebody asked me to take on the college ministry here at the church, and I got together with Chris and said, I just need to be anonymous. I'm struggling even if I want to continue following Christ or not. And so Chris, with his blessing, I found another small group and was looking for a church for a long time. And one of the really cool things about this small group that I found back in the day was that's where I met Kathy. And that was 14 years ago when we got married. Anyway, together we went to her church for 10 years, and then life happens, things change, and we found ourselves without a small group and without a church. That was 2019. We just bought my parents' business, and we were trying to figure things out. And then within a year, COVID hit, and we were just drowning, figuring out this business, figuring out how to stay alive, figuring out all these kinds of things. And I remember at the end of that year saying, Kathy, we have got to find somebody who can throw us a lifeline. So I reached out to Zach and Jenny Graham and asked if we could join their small group, their life group. And it made such a huge difference.
All you nice folks get real scary from up here. One thing that's been really notable for Josh and I both is just how close we've gotten to people in our life group. We're all very different. We're from very different backgrounds. There's a huge variety of personalities, opinions. We all differ, but we've really grown to care for each other and respect our differences. And I think everyone in our life group has gone through some really hard things in the last couple of years, but we've walked through it together and prayed for each other, had each other's back. And it's a safe place. It's a place where difficult questions come up, and we all learn from each other's points of view. And that's where it's really valuable to have differing points of view, to support each other and help each other grow. I think there's a depth to the kind of relationship you can get in a life group that you can't get just saying hi to people on Sunday mornings. It's I think, a danger in any church that people fall through the cracks. And I think if people don't know or can't notice what's going on with you, it's really easy to fall through the cracks. And I think one of the ways to avoid that is through a life group and investing in other people's lives. So our group has made a huge difference to Josh and I in just our community and in our faith.
Yeah. I just want to give an example. This last week, I had to take apart a pug mill. It's in our pottery studio. It mixes all of our clay. Everything that comes from our studio has to go through it, and it was on the fritz. So I spent about 5 hours trying to get some bearings off, a gear shaft off. I called my dad to come help, and then I was like, I sent out a text and an SOS prayer for our life group and said, will you please pray? This thing is like kicking my butt. And within an hour, I had it out, and it was just a huge testimony of being able to reach out and say, I need some help, or whatever. If you're not in a life group, maybe you're the person who's going to be throwing a lifeline to somebody, or maybe you're the person who needs to be in a lifeline. But I highly encourage all of you to be in a life group. Thanks.